afternoon, everybody. Portside University, Faculty of Commerce, Political Science Department. Dr. اشرف Senior Associate Professor for Politics, Public Administration. Our session today, number 4, Groups A, B, C, English section. Our topic today about the United States, the public administration in the US. So the public administration all days or olden days date back to 8th century or 7th century BC, which is the better known as the pharaohs in Egypt, Greece, Latin. So try to understand, choose citizens voluntarily act their eyes and ears for public affairs. These guys, they were doing that for free in terms of giving, their loyalty to their society. Politicians actually developed some of the idea how to bring people together with the leaders, and this is through the administration or public administration or public policy atmosphere. Machiavelli, Niccolo Machiavelli, this is a famous guy in world politics and in public administration too. He really helped the prince, to arrange his government and try to organize public administration into actual government positions through his writings or his ideas. So Niccolo Machiavelli was one of the famous philosophers who helped many governments in Italy to run the states. Woodrow Wilson, famed essay. I mentioned about Woodrow Wilson as the father of public administration. So in his book, or in his article, The Study of Public Administration, 1887, the essay actually highlights certain aspects of the administration process. Ernest Wilson, the title Father of Public Administration. So أبو الإدارة العامة في العالم كله. الأفكار اللي أطرحها وودرو ويلسون كانت متطورة جدا لتنظيم العمل الإداري في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. World War II and the expansion of public administration. Actually, after World War II was a kind of expansion of public administration, political science, international politics. So directly after World War II, we found that the idea to have an effective public administration expanded to include analysis of policy making practices through the government works and try to compare between the ideas and the way that you should really execute these ideas. And this is actually the role of public administration. This led to public administration inclusions, psychology, anthropology, and other social sciences, political science, economics. So this is, a field, requires many social science be part of it that can really help public administration to execute its goals. The Americans, of course, in 1990, they were trying to improve their public administrations, like the Americans with the Disabilities Act, to help the disabilities people that be engaged in society and in the workplace. So this is kind of, a new trend that America led the world to give a chance for disabilities guys to be a part of public administration system. The study of public administration or study of administration, back again to Woodrow Wilson, he believed that we should really, utilize the academic discipline that can really help us to understand what is next and understood, the goals and how to execute the goals. And this is kind of relationship between politicians and people. Woodrow Wilson actually also, after he wrote this article, many scholars, got benefit from this, and we're trying to create general laws that can really help everybody to contribute towards the improving of public administrations. Plans, policies the government made were not administrative through the executions of these plans was at that time. These were to include actions such as raising taxes, and this is very important, recruiting members of the Army and Navy, delivering mail, and more. Everything's part of the states by understanding the separated duties of the political government and public administration. So political government, that these guys can really generate or create laws. Public administration execute laws. So the most important that you should really make that separation between politics and policy. Wilson actually hoped that laws meant to serve the American people would be carried out effectively, efficiently, and with the last possible cost or energy. And this is the most important. You need really to reduce some of the cost and increase the benefit. So ways social media has benefit public administration. Social media, of course, we can really see it clearly in American life, including government, politics, and public administration, in addition to the general public using social media for political awareness, like coronavirus now, where the social media can help politicians to transfer and deliver their messages to help people that can really get protected. So, and develop that kind of engagement, through the elected officials, public officials, and city service department are using these platforms for routine reporting and communications with the public. Again, how social media benefits public management, and actually I already wrote that question for you guys, so prepare tomorrow to submit it. The answer of these questions. When politicians are seeking new or really re-elected positions, they want to demonstrate their effective leadership and messages to the people by using social networking. They make themselves available to the public and engage in dialogue with supporters. This lets the public know each individual voice is being heard, and they each have a real stake in election and public participation process. In that point, leaders who have taken notes of this trend and have acted with or within the social media relay can reach a far wider range of interested members of the public than was previously possible. The business of public administration. Woodrow Wilson emphasized that public administration is a field of business, means cost and benefit, and should be run with similar tactics and strategies that businesses adopt to achieve optimal performance and efficiency. He called for studying the government as an organization to perform administrative functions. The current government and public administration environment, Wilson called for politicians and administration to be separated, and this is a major point Wilson mentioned in his article, and the duties of administration to be carried out by scientifically educated and administrative experts. يعني انت عايز ناس متعلمين ودارسين كويس يقدروا ينفذوا السياسات لصالح الدولة. It is still a struggle in the current environment to separate administrative actions from political influence. Indeed, some scholars don't believe in Wilson divided between administration and politics. Still really hard. But Woodrow Wilson academic studies. He was a president of Princeton University. He was, of course, president of the United States. So the field of academia and academic studies continue to have impact on the field of public administrations. But actually, this point is still on in the United States. Organizational structure in public administration. So we need really to structure your government. In government and public agencies, the organizational structure establishes the responsibilities, power and control assigned of each member of an organization, but also dedicated relationships between employees who provide direct services, management, and directors, which sets the tone for how work is conducted and goals are achieved. This is clear now with that kind of virus in the United States and Egypt. Organizational structure and public administration, we can go with a vertical structure, horizontal structure, and I mentioned that before. You should read that carefully. It will not be in your exam, in your final exam, but just this is just R, which is readings. Matrix structure, divisional structure, just R. Tips of making important decisions. Many of decisions is actually you need really to know more about them and consequences of any decision. People around you, they're gonna to be affected by that decision. A broader community making the right ones, following some of the tips. First, research on properties, in terms of priorities. So this is two steps process is a good start to making any decision. Trying to rank your goals, try to research on your goals and the issue, how really you can really make and take the right decision. Try to understand the arguments against each other that can really help you to act correctly. So your research on that issue can really help you to make something very clear and accurate, predict of consequences of any decision you're gonna to make it. Pretended that you are advising a friend. يعني تظاهر بأنك تنصح صديق. Considering this scenario can help you to step back from your emotions stuff, يعني العاطفة ما تأثرش, and gain the perspective. You need to make the best decision you can make given your solutions, putting yourself in the shoes of another person. This can really help you to understand his or her problem. It should also help you to make the decision that are in the public interest, that are in the core of public interest, في قلب اهتمام العامة. No choice you make will affect only you, so you should let your desires guide your decision-making process. Remember the big picture. So don't really take the small ones. Try to link all the dots. Listen to your gut instinct. Basically you have to listen للحاسة الستة والسبعة الانستنكت بتاعتك. Our brains are weird to help us make the best possible decisions. Our brains very limited. So you need more information. You need really to understand every word, every info. So if we start to just to process, try to build, clear plan, trusting your intuitions will make you a more confident decision maker rather than someone who hesitates during the process. Making an important decision can be stressful situation, of course, because time pushing you, crisis consequences pushing you. So you need to keep these steps in your mind, and you can feel confident you will make the right choice that best for you and others. Ways that social media has benefit public administrations. As I mentioned before, and try to remind you the way that is, to understand the awareness and engagement of elected people. How social media benefit public management. When politicians are seeking a new re-elected, I'm trying to repeat these two slides. I explained them before, but I found them again. It's really important, so I'm repeating these guys, these slides to understand more, to get involved with these slides. How social media benefits public management. Sharing public reports lead to easier access, improved communications. So government once established a very strong line, a very strong communications tools that you can invite citizens to understand what is next for upcoming meetings about issues, events, environmental concerns, preparation for unexpected natural disaster, for example, like the public health, like Corona now. So all of the things, very important for all of you guys. Increase engagement, social networking by administration, increase public participations in every corner that you need really to let the social media be part of your work, and this is through the accountability or government office accountable. Social media has given the public news for check and balance. يعني الميديا والإعلام بيخلينا نعرف توازن السلطات والصلاحيات المختلفة لكل سلطة. Public offices that use social media, state and federal agencies, الدولة والولايات الفيدرالية continue to develop their social media presence, الوجود والظهور. وفي طبعا عندنا two examples, Department of Energy وCalifornia Department of Water Resources. عجز الطاقة وازاي تقدر تعمل saving للطاقة، ده جزء من Department of Energy في كاليفورنيا. California Department of Water Resources، شح المياه وقلتها في كاليفورنيا تخلينا نبدأ نستخدم السوشيال ميديا as a platforms to communicate with people, try to consume a rational amount of water within the droughts time per year or every year. Ways open government has impacted public administration. Open government, e-government, transparency, شفافية, try to understand the data, collect the data, everything's pretty open, everyone know more about the issue, not only the government, not only the politician, but also the people. Higher transparency and accountability. كل ما بتزيد الشفافية والمسؤولية ده بيدي طبعا فاعلية لعلاقة الناس بالمواطنين بالسياسيين وكيف إدارة الأزمة أو المشكلة لعملية decision making process. Ways open government has impacted public administration, increase engagement from the people, accountability leads to trust, المحاسبة والمسؤولية بتؤدي إلى مزيد من الثقة. I think this is very simple English. Improved efficiency of service. طبعا الجول في government إنه طبعا تقدر to improve the efficiency of service that they provide. ده طبعا عن الداتا gov أو الgov lab، المعامل أو البيانات big data. ده مهم جدا للاندستريز والبزنسز والcorporations. طبعا ده كله مهم improved. The reason the gender equality in public administration ده طبعا مهم قوي كان في public administration equality between women's and men's، وده طبعا كان يحسب لأمريكا هم they made that improvement in terms of giving the women's in the United States some advantages or give them advantages to be part of the state work. It benefits everybody. Gender equality, of course, increase that level of satisfactions, increase the participations. Companies actually perform better لما بنقدر ندي التشانس للديسيجن ميكنج ان هو يتعمل مظبوط، وبلس ان احنا بنخلي الفاميليز والومنز part of that decision. Gender equality in public administration movement has a really unique opportunity to bring gender equality to the political forefront in communities and countries across the world by generating political representations للwomen's للنساء والمرأة and response as only public administration can do. How to solve the complex policy decisions. Get social, try to understand the problems from different aspects, try to develop different approaches. Perfect is the enemy of good. لو انت شايف ان قسمك او المشكله اللي انت بتواجهها انت اكبر منها، فده طبعا معناه ان انت your mind gonna to be bad binary، وان انت بتتحرك ما بين الابيض والاسود، او ان انت your mind got really bounded by only one actions. Leap before your luck. Try ان انت to يعني prepare different scenarios A B C D. Try to find many variables, hypotheses. ده كله يعني very important ان انت to read that and understand the chance how to implement yearly, how to take your precautions yearly, like Egypt government. يعني President Sisi made that kind of preventing and precautions yearly to protect Egypt society from coronavirus.